Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jaggy here, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a special video today. If you guys have been around since the Elite League days, you'll most likely have already watched the video called Elite League Season 4 Week 7 Recap. Link in the description below, and if you have already watched that video, you guys will know exactly what I'm about to do. For those of you that don't know what I'm about to do, I'm going to be covering a couple of matches that weren't casted. For this video, I'm going to be covering Durog versus Extend Ash, and Kaisers versus Turtle Team. Daragh versus Extend Ash being a battle for first place in Group F, and Kaisers versus Turtle Team being a playoff eliminator match. Whoever wins goes to the upper bracket, whoever loses goes to the lower bracket. And after I cover those two matches, I'm going to be going over the lower and upper brackets, as well as some intriguing matchups that we can see in those brackets. So I hope you guys enjoy what I'm about to throw out. Starting off with the Group F match between 3-1 Daragh and 4-0 Extend Ash. A win for Extend Ash would secure them first place in the group, which gives an automatic top 7 seed and an automatic first round bye. A win for Daragh would mean a 3-way tie for first in the group, the tiebreaker being head-to-head point differential among the three teams. Daragh lost to Kinetolic Gaming in Week 1 by 116, while Extend Ash beat Kinetolic Gaming by 58, KG having a plus 58 differential overall. Daragh with a minus 116 overall would mean that they would have to beat EA by 59 or more in order to surpass both KG and EA. Starting off the war in Mushroom Gorge, a track in which triple shrooms are a must-have in order to win the race. The shrooms going in Daragh's favor though for the first two laps, with Online taking Golden Strat up to first in lap 1, and both Torp and Epix having shrooms going into the gap lap 2, but Torp fails the gap in 4th, and Epix gets redded by Sal after making gap himself. EA are now in control, but Daragh were in position to change the tides as Starstrike got shock in 9th after chaining boxes, but his attempt to target shock Dane fails and Lucid predicts it, dodging in a mega, giving EA 2-3-4 before Sal misses gap, and Torp makes it ahead of Sal, which results in a +3 race for Daragh instead of a +5 for EA. Daragh looked to continue the momentum as they picked Toad's Factory, a common track to pick when occupying 1st and 4th. Torp fails to draft first though, so the spots remain relatively mixed. Sal has a chance to give EA a 1-3-4 early on, but he hits the wall trying to avoid bumping Dane. Lucid pulls a TC in 3rd and passes it to Online, both of whom slow down as a result, giving Dane more of a break in 1st, with Daragh occupying 2-3 behind him, before Epix hits the dirt in 2nd, who gets billed immediately after by Knight, who ran the bill up to a mid spot and is now broken away with Dane in top 2. Sal Golden's up, but he gets backed by Torp, who is Daragh's only top spot, and Dacia takes a TC. Epix grinds his way back up to the front and backspams Sal, followed up by a Daragh shock, which was too little too late for them though, as EA already secured top 2-4. The next race is one of the craziest I've seen in a long time, so grab your popcorn for this one. EA maintain their top spots until a bomb snipe comes up from Torp, connecting on both Dane and Lucid, but Sal sneaks into first anyway after shrooming up. 1-4 coming in from EA before Sal gets blued, and Daragh overtake top 2 before a blue connects on Torp immediately afterward, who then eats a pinpoint backspam from Sal. Dane ends up redding Online out of first, and Lucid shrooms all the way up to 2nd, as well as Knight getting up to 4th later on in the lap, giving EA a top 4 before a blue comes in onto Dane. But spots change hands again as Torp then reclaims first after goldening up. 1-4 for Daragh as Online pulls a TC in 4th, as Sal wins another exchange after he backs a red onto Online while simultaneously evading Online's snipe attempt. Spots are mixed going into the last few turns before another insane play occurs as Dacia, who had a bomb in 4th, throws the bomb with perfectly measured power onto the last straightaway, hitting Sal and giving Daragh a +11 race instead of a +3 had the snipe not come off. Coconut Mall gets picked, and EA have a chance to turn the tables back around as Sal and Knight take cut and Lucid takes Golden Strat, giving EA a top 2-4 early on, which gets even further solidified as Sal megas up to 3rd in lap 2, giving them a top 3 with EA holding blue. Lucid loses first though after careening straight into a fib as a result from the blooper in his face. Torp Golden's up to 1st, and EA finally pull the trigger on the blue just in time before a Daragh shock comes in, dodging both Dacia and Online in 4-5, who run all the way up to top 2. And the blue didn't matter too much in the end as Torp grinds his way back up to 4th, a +15 race for Daragh and a +16 GP for them. EA end up answering back with a good race of their own in the next race from a few key factors. The first coming from Tears taking advantage of Starstrike slowing down in order to avoid starring the runners, as Tears was able to pass Starstrike with relative ease, and Starstrike got starred by one of the runners, giving Tears a break in 10th and ultimately the shock. The second factor coming from EA getting their fair share of shrooms to take double with, as Dane takes double in lap 1 and single lap 2, followed by Lucid taking double behind him lap 2 for a top 2 break. The shock came in handy as it cancelled a blue onto Dane and dodged Sal and a Mega, who then drifts hard to the left after a red is thrown at him, the red hitting Dacia instead. Great play by Sal. Sal wasn't able to maintain frontal presence though, as he got blued lap 3 and many of the players took double. Lucid was able to hold first though, especially with taking double lap 2 and having a decent break for the rest of the race. And EA held on to secure 1-3-4 in the end, a plus 11 race for them. Daragh managed to sway the war back in their favor as they got a good race in Maple Treeway and then continued to chip away in the next few races, as they win the GP by 16 and are up 32. Race 9 went smoothly for Daragh as Torp shrooms up in second lap 1. Dacia takes cut with the Mega in lap 2 and slows down both Sal and Knight, and Epix shrooms up behind him, overtaking third. Epix eventually gets into second, and Daragh maintained their top 2 for the rest of the race. Plus 9 race for Daragh, and they continue to chip away at EA following that race. Race 10 starts off with Sal backspamming Epix, as well as elusively avoiding Dacia's triple reds on the ramp section as Dacia tanks the TC, and Sal unblocks the cut, allowing Lucid to take cut onto first. Online takes the cut behind him, 2-3 coming in for Daragh. Sal takes the Ultra lap 2 but only goes up to 5th as Daragh are 2-3-4 at this point. Torp waits for a cut unblock in lap 3, to which Epix does by throwing a red at the Nana, hitting Torp in the process but still allowing Torp to get into first after taking the cut, followed by Sal right behind him as he made Ultra yet again. Dane slips into third as well after taking cut, who passes Sal a TC, to which Sal tries to draft Torp with it, but a Daragh shock comes right before the draft, allowing Torp to keep first, and Dacia dodges up in a star to get second, a plus 5 race for Daragh. EA are now down by 46 going into the last 2 races, and need to win the next race by 5 or more in order to stay mathematically in the war. Koopa Cave comes out, which favors Daragh on paper as they are sandwich spots, where top 2 can run and bottom 2 can back for items to catch up with. The tables turn early on though as Dane snipes top 2 with a bomb, giving EA a major advantage to start the race with. Epix takes both grass cuts and gets up to second, while Sal accidentally reds Knight, although Knight still stays in fourth right behind Sal, so a 1-3-4 coming in for EA. Lucid comes up but is immediately shot back down after getting TC'd. Still a 1-3-4 for EA, but things are starting to look up for Daragh as Online slams Sal into the wall while taking cut, and Dacia follows it up with a red. Spots are relatively mixed, but EA have the potential to regain control of the race as Sal pulls a bill with Tears securing the shock, and the shock does come in early lap 3, dodging both Sal and Lucid, giving EA a 1-3-4-5, and to top it off, Knight pulls triple reds in third, hitting Epix twice in the tunnel section and securing a top 4 for EA. Just like that, EA are now only trailing by 17 going into the last race. Had Dane not gotten the snipe off on Daragh's top 2 early on, this could have been a much different story. The stage was set for the final race. BC Week comes out from EA, which is a track that is very runnable once you get past the item spamming in the beginning of the race. EA were unable to keep their top spots though as Dacia spams his greens and hits Sal, Knight, and Dane in one go, turning the tides completely. This gets followed up by Epix slagging with a Mega, hitting Knight but merely slowing down Sal, who keeps his bill up until he goes for glitch and fails it and is forced to use it. Top 2 still from Daragh until Sal runs the glitch back in lap 2, this time making it cleanly. So a 1-3 for EA, which is not enough, but it could be a start for them. All hope seemed to be lost for EA though, as a POW comes in with Sal losing his shroom right before the blue connects on him. Torp tries to combo Sal but was barely in front of him when he threw that green, and the green bounces diagonally off the wall and hits him dead on, giving EA a top 2. But Daragh are occupying 3-4, so this is not good enough for EA. It could change though, as Sal could potentially back the 3-4, but all hope for EA was lost when Torp gets a beautiful fib snipe onto Sal, and a blue comes in onto Lucid, Daragh occupying 1-3 now. They maintain their 1-3 for the rest of the race, winning the race by 5 and winning the war by 22. This war was an absolute dogfight, both teams trading big races in the first half of the war, starting with EA running Toad's factory effectively in race 2, followed by an immediate answer from Daragh in race 3, with the help of a perfectly weighted bomb snipe from Dacia on the Sal on the line. Both teams with double-digit winning races in the next 2 races before Daragh started to chip away at EA until race 11, when EA were revived with the help of a key bomb snipe onto Daragh's top 2 from Dane. And of course, the last race going back and forth, with Daragh's green spamming being the ultimate factor for Daragh's winning race. This win meant that Kinetola Gaming secured first place in the group, giving them a top 7 seed guaranteed, 6th seed to be exact due to their lower overall point differential, meaning that they will play 11th seed Apocalypse in round 2. Extend Ash was bumped all the way down to 9th seed, still getting a first round bye, but their matchup being against 8th seed Phantasmagoria, who are a consensus top 7 team in the game, but got relegated to 8th seed after their loss to Charge Brigade in week 5. Tough matchup for Extend Ash. Daragh got 10th seed with the win, meaning they got a round 1 bye as well, and are pitted up against 7th seed Hurasato. That should be an interesting one. Next, we have a playoff eliminator match in Group G between 2-2 Kaisers and 2-2 Turtle Team. The upper bracket implication is simple: win and you're in. Whoever wins this match gets 3rd seed in the group and moves on to the upper bracket, while the loser will be relegated to the lower bracket. Turtle Team throwing out their best lineup, while Kaisers are missing out on Edge, so Elec comes in for him. Running wise, both lineups are close in the running department on paper. Kaisers were seen by many as the favorites to win this match, although it was Turtle Team who drew first blood. Monies tanks a TC and Zesty chains a star early on, which can be a risky play if you don't pull another dodge, and he didn't in this scenario. Things look up for T7 as Signal pulls Shock. Zexus has a Mega but gets past the TC, to which he uses it immediately, and after a bit of hesitation, the Shock comes in. Nobody from Kaisers dodging despite the delay. Zexus and Angel both dodging, and a plus 21 for T7 right out of the gate. T7 looked to continue the momentum as they pick BC Wii. Korra was able to spam his shrooms to get up to first, but the rest of Kaisers were still stuck in the back, notably with Zesty tanking a TC. Angel then becomes a recipient of a TC, but still a 2-3-4 for T7 before Zexus throws a blue at Korra, which gets him off the track. Top 3 for T7 going into lap 2 before Jack pulls a 9th place Shock and immediately spams it to dodge Monies and a star up to first, and he takes Signal's drop star to give him a bigger break. Kaisers are now occupying top 2 bottom 2, which could have been detrimental as Signal was in 10th the whole time, but T7 were not able to secure the Shock and Kaisers held top 2, plus 15 race for them. Now it's Kaisers' turn to pick a top spot track. Toad's factory comes out while they occupy 2-3-4, which is dangerous on paper. Alpha was able to pull triple shrooms in 4th and Monies gets wheelie bumped by Korra. Alpha opts to use a shroom to take late cut with in 3rd, so his position with shrooms is not as potent as it could have been, but Signal pulls Shock, to which they decide to use lap 2 and target shock both Korra and Zesty, but Alpha, who tends to make mistakes at times, hits a crate and goes off the track. Fast forward to lap 3 where Kaisers are 2-3-4 going into the U-turn section as Signal pulls another Shock, to which Angel calls himself into boxes, pulls a Mega and gets up to 4th. A -1 race for T7, which could have been better had Alpha not failed. RBC was picked by T7 in the next race, and the race starts off in a wacky way, as a TC goes from Angel to Korra to Alpha, who then takes it in the end, and a bomb snipe comes in, getting one player from each team. A bit of a fail occurs while Alpha tries to pass the TC off to Zexus. Alpha and Zexus end up losing a lot of speed after failing to try to pass the TC off, but LT gives himself a little bit more of a break in first after throwing a green off a wall and hitting one of the Kaisers players with it. 1-3 for T7 before Angel gets killed after the bridge, 2-3-4 for Kaisers. Spots change hands though as LT gets blued. Signal did secure the Shock, but he was chased down by Jack from what seemed like an eternity. Here are some snippets of the bagging battle. Signal hard stopped before the ramp, but Jack didn't take the bait. But Jack slowly creeps back up to Signal before Signal speeds away, avoiding Jack's star attempt. When Jack caught back up again, he had a bill in hand this time, so he was waiting for the right time to strike, but when he did pull the trigger, he missed. The Shock was secure, but T7 grappled with the uncertainty of when to use Shock. Here's a snippet of the T7 call.
I think they're holding something in last. They're holding a ledge. They want to use the grass.
I have a Mega?
We should use it a little bit after grass, because it might be a little bit too predictable.
Or maybe like get him after boxes.
There's
Green back.
Yeah,
Hanging around
Angel,
the
call
Daragh.
call shock before you hit boxes.
Alright. Activate shock. CS one.
PS isn't that bad, but
I know,
yeah.
but I pulled another mega.
Oh, Jesus.
Switch him, switch
I'll
him,
try
switch
again.
him.
I tried,
back.
and we got 2-3.
2-3,
Oh, nice.
5.
Clutch race from Signal, as it seemed like he bumped Jack taking the backward strat lap 1, broke away in 10th and got the shock, and then juked Jack out twice to secure the shock. Had Jack pulled the shock, Kaisers would have gotten top 3, maybe top 4 dodging Korra outside, a plus 6 GP for T7, in what will seem to be like a close match throughout. After GP1 though, T7 continued the momentum in race 5, notably when Elec failed gap in 4th, which could have relegated T7 to a top 2-5, but it's now a top 2-4 with a slight break for T7. Alpha pulls a TC in 4th but is unable to pass it to Monies and ends up getting off the track trying to pass it again, and Angel fails gap. Both events giving Kaisers some life despite only being 3, 4, 5, 6, but Signal had already secured the shock after Jack tried to get it in 9th after chaining boxes in lap 1. Signal lost the shock later in the lap though, but the racers were already crossing. Top 2 for T7 as well as Alpha coming all the way up to 4th after Kaisers fails to pull shrooms. T7 get a favorable track pick in Moonview Highway, a track in which spots can change hands in a flash in the first 5 seconds, and they do as Elec gets it to 2nd after goldening, and Zesty overtakes 3rd. Zexus has a fib but backs it immediately and not in a great spot as Elec is easily able to avoid it and slip into 1st, before Zexus then gets redded by Zesty. Alpha tries to pass his TC off but misses Monies badly, and it goes from him to Zexus to Korra, who uses his star after taking the TC and runs into the bomb car in front of Zexus. Top 4 for Kaisers, but Signal secures shock yet again, and they use it first set lap 3 to dodge Alpha in a Mega and Angel in a star. Angel hit a car after a star ended though, and Alpha was only able to get up to 3rd, so a top 2 for Kaisers before a clean backspam from Zesty on the line. Plus 21 race for Kaisers, and Kaisers regain the lead, winning by 2. Maple Treeway comes out, a track in which Zesty is solid at running, and their top 2 gets a bit more solidified as Alpha bumps Zexus off accidentally after picking up a ground shroom. Top 2-4 for Kaisers until Angel gets bumped off, so top 3, but luckily for T7, Alpha drafts Elec and connects with a revolving green. Signal and Jack were neck and neck on the bagging battle, but Jack decides to go forward to fall off with Bill. Big mistake as Signal was able to get a box in 10th, which ended up being the shock. Fast forward to lap 3 where T7 used the shock in Cannon, and the shock was perfectly timed as 3 of T7 get into Cannon and none of Kaisers, with Zexus dodging outside in a Mega. And all 4 T7 players that dodged up got up to the front without any problems and maintained their top 4 for the rest of the race. And to the excitement of T7,
Let's go.
Top 4, let's go, boys!
Bridge big boys!
that race is a perfect example of the power that the shock possesses, and the shock so far is 5-1 in T7's favor. That race brought T7 up to plus 27, and they did not stop there. T7 got a top 3 after Jack DCs before the race, giving Signal a free shock, dodging LT in a star lap 2 when they were already 1-3-4, nullifying any chance for Kaisers to come back. Edge subbed in for Korra GP3, which was important as Edge is their best runner, with Korra not providing much frontal presence in this war. Kaisers picked Parkway despite being top 4 in another Cannon track, a bold pick indeed, but a track that Zesty and Monies are both confident in running. A blue comes in from Elec, connecting on Angel and LT at the same time, but Elec hits a drop green, and both Alpha and Zexus shroom up to top 2. Pau comes in and... Pause. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to let you guys guess what happens next.
Oh, drop it on here.
Oh,
Easily one of the most innovative POW dodges I have ever seen, but unfortunately it doesn't pay off as Zexus used his last shroom to take cut with and got blued immediately afterwards, allowing Monies and Zesty to pass him getting into top 2. But that did not last very long as guess who had the shock again? Signal, and they dodged 3 of their own players, also getting Elec into the cannon in the process, who ended up falling behind, along with Angel, but the top 3 was still wrapped up for T7. A little unlucky from Jack not to pull the shock in 10th there, as it could have been a top 2 guaranteed for Kaisers. T7 looked to wrap it up here by picking Yoshi Falls, and are able to keep some of their top spots going into lap 3, before Kaiser Shock comes in dodging Monies, but Monies was unable to break the top spots as he gets killed, and Zexus gets a clean bomb snipe onto Zesty, preventing him from possibly shrooming up to break the top spots. And T7 finished with top 3, ending all hopes of Kaisers coming back. Kaisers were able to scrape together winning races in the last 2 races, but it was not nearly enough, as Turtle Team ran away with the victory, winning by 50. Both teams had their moments in the running department, but the ultimate X factor here was the Shock. Jack did pull Bill on a couple of occasions, and Signal did pull Shock in 9th in one race, but Signal still outbagged Jack overall, and the Shock count was warranted. Most of the races playing out where Kaisers had a bit more favorable spots, but T7 Shocks changing the races around completely. A solid win for T7, which marks their spot in the upper bracket, relegating Kaisers to the lower bracket. Since Turtle Team finished off the season 3-2, they weren't able to get too high of a seed, and in the first round they're going to play against Moonblast, who went 3-2 themselves after playing in the Group of Death, so it's going to be a tall task for Turtle Team as Moonblast are a solid team. Turtle Team will likely have to throw out this lineup, and Signal will have to get the better of Joss in the bagging department, which will be a little tough as Joss is an experienced bagger. That particular bagging matchup will be very interesting to see. As for Kaisers, they're going to get a first round bye as they place 4th seed in the lower bracket, and they're going to play Team Ape, who are a team with decent chemistry, but not as strong as Kaisers on paper, so Kaisers should be able to win that one. And they're most likely going to play against World Friend in round 3, who are a bit of an underlooked team themselves as they kept it close against both Gamped and Explorers of Time, and they do have both Cosmos and Saikai, who are decent runners and help the team gel together. And then they'll most likely have a tough task against Lightspeed in the semifinals, so Kaisers still have their work cut out for them despite being one of the stronger teams in the lower bracket. Another quick pointer about the lower bracket, it was Team Gun from Group C that got relegated into the lower bracket, after suffering a heartbreaking loss against Maximum Likelihood by 26. And the consensus belief among the community was that the team that got relegated from Group C into the lower bracket was likely going to win the entire lower bracket. But they will have a couple of tall tasks against the winner of Insane and Saturation in round 3, as well as what looks to be like a semi-final match against Gamped, and the grand finals against most likely either Lightspeed or Kaisers. So it'll be interesting to see how the lower bracket plays out. Now with a brief look at the upper bracket, there are some very intriguing matchups here. Starting with round 1, Insane versus Apocalypse 2. A lot of people think Insane will win this one, but Apocalypse 2 have been playing very well as of late, so I think they're going to give Insane some problems here. Another very interesting matchup that I see here is Maximum Likelihood versus Megavolt. Even though Megavolt underachieved a little bit in the group stage, I do think that they're still going to pose a threat against Maximum Likelihood, who are known to keep all of their matches close even if they are the favorites. So expect a dogfight in that match, but expect the winner of this match to be eliminated by Metro Wipeout in round 2, as Metro Wipeout are a consensus top 3 team in the game. And then we have My Choppa Go versus Explorers of Time, which by the time I upload this video will already most likely be played. But that's an interesting one in the sense that both teams are a little on the inconsistent side, so it's going to be very hard to predict who wins that match. The team that stays consistent will win this match most likely. And then in round 2, I do think that Phantasmagoria versus Extend Ash is going to be a decent match, even though Phantasmagoria are the favorites here. Phantasmagoria, despite being a very strong team and a consensus top 7 team in the game, are known to slip up against teams that are just slightly below them. Examples being a few losses against teams like Biker Gang and Moonblast. And Extend Ash did get that upset victory against Kinetolic Gaming in the group stage in week 3. So you never know, an upset could be in the cards here for Extend Ash, but expect Phantasmagoria to move on anyway and likely play against Charge Brigade in round 3 in a rematch from the week 5 match in Group A. Hurasato versus Durog should be an interesting one as well, but Durog absolutely need to throw out their best lineup, and that includes Mel, if they want a chance to win this match. And then Wollywogs are most likely going to go up against Moonblast. That should be an interesting one, as Moonblast are known to be a team that holds their own against the top tier clans. But T7 are going to look to continue their Cinderella story. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the upper bracket. And as for the bottommost match, the bottommost match here is a little intriguing, despite KG being a very solid team. Apocalypse have been on a really good run as of late, and they're going to look to continue the momentum against Kinetolic Gaming. I can't wait to see how the first few weeks of the upper bracket play out, as well as the rest of the bracket. It's going to be very interesting. Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to be uploading more videos on casts, starting off with My Choppa Go versus Explorers of Time, and then the second match in the first round, Insane versus Apocalypse 2. Stay tuned for those matches, guys. On behalf of Mario Kart Boards, I'm Jaggy. Have a good one, everybody.